One greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. This is a two-part compilation basically pertaining to the missing boys of Cal City and Summer Wells out of Rogersville, better known as Hollerville, the name I've given it. I'm going to bring you said information pertaining to missing children and missing adults in America. How many babies go missing each year? Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing or is abducted in the United States. Approximately 840,000 children are reported missing each year, and the FBI estimates that between 85 and 90% of these are children. Where do most child abductions occur? Attempted abductions most often occur on the street while children are playing, walking, or riding bikes. Younger children are more likely to be playing or walking with a parent or an adult, whereas school-aged children are more likely to be walking alone or with peers. What is the most common age for kidnapping? Non-family abduction and stereotypical kidnapping stats. 81% were 12 years old or older in non-family cases. 58% were 12 years old or older in stereotypical kidnappings. In 40% of stereotypical kidnappings, the child was killed. In another 4%, the child was not recovered. 86% of the perpetrators are male. Why are babies kidnapped? Most likely compulsive, most often relies on manipulation, lying, and deception. Frequently indicates she has lost a baby or is incapable of having one. Often married or cohabitating. Companion's desire for a baby or the abductor's desire to provide her companion with his baby may be the motivation for the abduction. How many babies are stolen from hospitals? Of the reported 235 reported cases, 117 abductions, or 50%, have occurred in the hospital setting, most children taken from the hospital. 57% are taken from their mother's room. Roughly 15% each are taken from the newborn nursery, other pediatric wards, or from other parts of the hospital grounds. Who is most likely to abduct a child? Of the kids and teens who are truly abducted, and you see what they said, truly. Hello, John. Thank you for joining me. Of the kids and teens who are truly abducted, most are taken by a family member or an acquaintance. 25% of kids are taken by strangers. Let me say that again. 25% of kids are taken by strangers. Almost all kids kidnapped by strangers are taken by men. And about 2/3 of stranger abductions involve female children. Most abducted kids are in their teens. Just want to give you a little synopsis. How many children are kidnapped by a parent? The Justice Department reports that although an estimated 155,800 children are victims of serious parental abductions each year, only 30,500 police reports are officially registered. 9,200 cases are officially open in prosecutors' offices, and an estimated 4,500 arrests for parental abduction are made, and 3,500. This is July 21st, 2017. That said information. Okay. Just want to bring you everything I can find pertaining to missing children. missingkids.org. Yes. Okay. This information is pertaining to, also starts off talking about Mr. Walsh. I'm just going to skim through most of it just to give you all a synopsis of what's going on pertaining to missing children. Let's see. When a child is reported missing to law enforcement, federal law requires the child be entered into the FBI's National Crime Information Center, also known as NCIC. According to the FBI, in 2020, there were 365,348 NCIC entries for missing children. In 2019, the total number of missing children entries into NCIC was 421,394. So 2019 had 421,000 plus versus 2020's induction of 365,000 plus. In 2020, NCMEC assisted law enforcement, families, and child welfare with 29,782 cases of missing children. Okay. This is information from the Missing and Exploited Children's Network. Endangered runaway, 2042. And this is from 1/1/20 and 12/31/2020. So the first of the year to the end of 12/31/20, which would be right around the time the children from Cal City went missing, which was December 2020. This statistics stat ends at 12/31/2020, and it started at the first of the year, 1/1/2020. Let me repeat. Endangered runaway, 2042. Okay? Was active. Resolved, 27,072. Family abduction, 1,109 versus resolved, 1,396. Lost, injured, or otherwise missing was 219. Resolved, 239. Missing young adult, 921. Resolved, 996. Non-family abduction, it's basically 70. Resolved, 79. Overall recovery of NCMEC cases, 92% in 2020. So that's a very good stat for 2020. 92% of their cases were solved. So that's when you have to put two and two together of who abducted the child versus how many children were recovered. Okay? All right. Thank you for joining me. 1,053 children have been successfully recovered as a direct result of the Amber Alert program as of December 31st, 2021. So 1 year ago, 1,053 children were successfully recovered as a result of the Amber Alert. When a child has been missing for more than 2 years, a photograph may no longer show what the child looks like present day. NCMEC's specialized artists working on the forensic imaging team create age progression images of children as they mature so the public has a more accurate representation of what the child may look like now. In 2020, NCMEC's forensic artists age progressed 195 long-term missing children and more than 7,100 since the team began this work in 1989. This team of artists also creates facial reconstructions for unidentified deceased children. They work closely with our case managers who are helping law enforcement determine the child's identity until we're able to give them their name back. We can give them their face. In 2020, NCMEC's forensic artists created 49 facial reconstructions for unidentified deceased children and more than 600 to date. Overall, NCMEC has assisted in 185 identifications of unidentified deceased children. In 2020, Team Adam deployed to the scene of 29 cases of critically missing children and has deployed more than 1,200 times since Team Adam began in 2003. And with COVID restrictions in place during 2020, Team Adam did virtual consultations on additional 28 critical cases. Team Adam Consults also assists law enforcement with long-term missing cases, bringing knowledge of landfill assessment, search and rescue, biometrics collection, and the integration of all other available NCMEC resources. As a private nonprofit organization, NCMEC has a unique ability to engage the public-private partnerships to achieve our mission through an in-kind donation of data, technology, and other tools. Specialized analysts develop information that leads to the support recovery of missing children. In 2020, NCMEC responded to 4,234 requests for information to support the recovery of missing children. Attempted abductions. In order to better inform law enforcement, the public, and our safety materials, NCMEC tracks and analyzes attempted child abductions and related incidents. Analyzing these crimes enables us to teach families to better protect their children and provide law enforcement with tools that can help guard their communities. In 2020, NCMEC tracked and analyzed 720 attempted abductions and has analyzed a total of 18,000 335 attempted abductions since we began tracking 2005. And they also play a role to fight child sexual exploitation online. They review millions of images of child sexual abuse in the effort to find the child and help law enforcement rescue them from abusive situations. Every day, we work to disrupt the trading of child sexual abuse images and videos online and help survivors begin to rebuild their lives. NCMEC operates the Cyber Tip Line, a national mechanism for the public and electronic service providers to report instances of suspected child sexual exploitation. Since its inception in 1998, the Cyber Tip Line has received more than 96 million reports. That is a lot. Let me repeat that. Since its inception of 1998, the Cyber Tip Line has received 96 million reports. In 2020, the Cyber Tip Line received more than 21.7 million reports, up from 16.9 million in 2019, most of which are related to apparent child sexual abuse material, online enticement, including sextortion, child sex trafficking, and child sexual molestation. 303,299 of those reports from 2020 were from the public, and 21.4 million were from electronic service providers. Reports of online sexual exploitation from the public more than doubled in 2020. For a full chart of the number of reports from ESPs in 2020, you can click at this certain article. Okay, it's a very long-winded article. This is information pertaining to the relationship from the offender to the child. And this chart has babysitter, mentor, coach, unknown to child, self-production, parent, guardian, other relative, online enticement, neighbor, family, friend, guardian's partner, child sex trafficker. Okay, so we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 entities that could be involved in the disappearance of a child. The gender is male, 36%, female, 64%, age, infant, toddler, 9%, pre-pubescent, 60%, pubescent, 32%. Data, relationship of offender to a child and actively traded images and videos. So, this is very sad to me, these stats. 17,000 reports regarding possible child sex trafficking in 2020. In 2020 also, 26,500 cases of children reported missing who had run away. 1 in 6 were likely victims of child sex trafficking. Okay? And it goes on to talk about sex trafficking, that they work with families and child welfare workers in preparing for the recovery of the missing child, ensuring survivors of child sex trafficking receive trauma-informed response and specialized services immediately upon recovery is crucial to their support and healing. And naturally, the children have experienced significant trauma as being survivors of sex trafficking. In 2020, NCMEC assisted with more than 13,740 requests to help locate non-compliant sex offenders. Of those, feedback indicates that 6,764 non-compliant sex offenders were subsequently located, arrested. So 6,764 were found and arrested versus the total amount in needing requests for help locating these bums, 13,740. So at least 7,000, a little under 7,000 were on the lam. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm going to step out of this. If you want to get any information from this, feel free to go into the said information for the Missing Children's Network to get all these said stats. It's a lot to take in. Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing or is abducted in the United States. Approximately 840,000 children are reported missing each year, and the FBI estimates that between 85 and 90% of these are children. So 840,000 is the estimate of missing children. I'm going to give you an update pertaining to Cal City. Thank you so much for joining. God bless all of you. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Byron Wong, who is now working for Denver 7, has an update pertaining to the Cal City brothers. And let me say in this live that he was never fired. His contract was up. He moved on to better pastures. Same thing for the other young lady who was covering the case. She was not fired. She, as well, contract ended. For those of you who believe they were fired and or were passing rumors that these two entities were fired by their stations, they were not. Byron Wong uploaded this content 5 hours ago. Bakersfield police have executed 4 more search warrants, interviewed 33 more people, conducted 11 more mass area searches, and 4 out-of-state searches as of December 13th for missing toddler brothers, Orrin and Orson West, who were 3 and 4 years old at the time when their adoptive parents reported them missing out of their California city home on December 21st, 2020. These are updated figures to the investigation. Here are the numbers from June when BPD released the previous figures. 83 people interviewed, 44 search warrants, 170 items seized for investigating, 16 mass area searches, and 3 searches out of state. As of today, the adoptive parents' other 4 children remain in CPS custody. Let me repeat, for somebody that will get it misconstrued or pass a rumor. As of today, the adoptive parents' other 4 children remain in CPS custody. No suspect has been formally identified and no one has been arrested. BPD is continuing to work with TBI Texas EquiSearch, NCMEC, California City Police Department, and Kern County District Attorney's Office on this case. If you need verification for any information that I have brought to you, please log over to Facebook and look under Byron Wong Denver 7. You will see the said information that was just uploaded 5 hours ago. So right now, as of today, 4 more searches, 33 more people interviewed, 11 more mass searches, and 4 out-of-state searches as of December 13th pertaining to Orrin and Orson. And months ago, in June, it was 83 people interviewed, 44 search warrants, 170 items seized, and 16 mass area searches. So what we have to ask ourselves is, why are they going out of state and other places to look? Because I did hear that before, that they had gone out of state. What was the evidence that led them to go out of state to look for these 2 boys, Orrin and Orson? What information did they get to go out there? Where are the places that they conducted these last searches as of December 13th? It says 16, let me see, go back. It says here 11 more mass area searches. So where are those searches? Where did they search? Is this information from technical devices such as telephones, iPads, computers, GPS on cars? What are we saying? And as far as the searches that was exacted months ago out of town or earlier in the year, what led them to go out of town? Same thing with the Summer Wells case. They have had searches out of the area of Tennessee. Where were those places? What states were searched? Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky. Which states were they? I'm curious. The similarities of the cases of Cal City versus Hollerville are the obvious. The children have not been located. Next week will mark 1 year that the Cal City boys were reported missing and have yet to be found. Tomorrow will mark 6 months that Summer Wells went missing, and she has not been found. And it's looking very grim for both cases. Thank you so much, Shannon. The similarities, as I said, the children have not been located. One's almost a year and one is 6 months. The similarities, neglect. The children started off in a rocky start, the young boys went into foster care, adopted by these two people, to later be reported missing. And as you see, several agencies are involved, and I did list those said agencies in this video that are involved in aiding the search for the Cal City boys. Where are they? Where are they? It says human trafficking. Were they sold for felonious reasons? Were they sold to a better family, somebody that wanted kids? And what food would buy them, knowing you couldn't raise them because somebody would recognize the children? For those who thinking some good Samaritan took them in, even if a family member took them in, kidnapped them, however you want to word it, kidnapping is basically what it's called. If you took them illegally, what are you going to do with them? You can't come outside with them. So let's weigh the options with Cal City. Their pictures have been floating around. You can't come outside with the children for whatever reasons that you took them. Okay? Now, if you were handed the children, that's a whole different ball game. But then that means the parents filed a fake report, which means you can go to jail for falsifying a kidnapping or missing report of your children. So you can scratch the they gave the kids away to somebody. By law, they can give their kids to whomever they want because they legally adopted them. So if they wanted to hand their children over to Pookie, Ray, that's their choice. But the felonious part of that story would be reporting the children missing. Okay? Now, I've given you the demographics pertaining to child abductions, who kidnaps a child, the stats of an outsider versus a parent, custodial reasons why many people kidnap children. The children live with a grandmother, an uncle, a husband, a wife, and somebody wants their child. Most of those abductions happen within the family. There's some type of scoffing going on between the people who are allegedly taking care of the child. Somebody wants the child versus who has the child. That wouldn't be the case in Summer Wells because she allegedly was living with both of her parents versus these two boys were living with adoptive parents who we thought cared for them, but obviously they didn't because they've moved on. Cal City, the adoptive parents have moved on, but don't have all 4 children back. Hollerville, 1's missing and 3 are still in state's care, like Cal City's children are still in the state's care. So those two are similar. And don't you find it interesting that both sets of families do not have their biological children now or adoptive children? Why is that? So that means the state found something unsavory in their investigation to keep your kids. Jacqueline and Trezell. What would that be exactly? You see, we were never given any information pertaining to what was inside of the house when the boys from Cal City went missing and the other children were taken from the custody of the parents. So now we're going to say what was inside of the house. What did the state and law officials see to deem this place unfit for the remaining children? And as Bryan once said to the chief of Cal City, many children go missing and they have siblings and the state does not remove the other children. And he said, yes, you're right. That is true. That is true. So then you have to ask the obvious. Why were these children removed? The remaining children from Cal City. What was found in the house for the state to be called to have the children removed? And they were removed immediately, not 6 weeks later. Now, jump over to Hollerville. The boys stayed in the care of the Wells 6 weeks versus Cal City children removed Johnny on the spot. Why? Why? What is the difference? What was found in each case to remove the remaining children? And as I said, The main common denominator in both cases is neglect of the children. Cal City, they didn't have a chance from day one. Rogersville, the children did not have a chance from day one. It is to be expected. Do you understand what I'm saying? Negligence is obvious in both cases because in Cal City, they were taken immediately, the remaining biological and foster children. Rogersville, 6 weeks later, 3 boys were removed, and they have yet to be returned to the Wells, and Jacqueline and Giselle West have yet to retrieve their 4 children. And some might ask, hell, do they even want their damn kids back? Probably not. The only thing Cal City is probably missing with those 2 are the funds. Because on paper, we had no record of the 2 working. So what did Jacqueline and Giselle do while raising these said children? What was their income to support themselves and the children before the 2 went missing? Why did the state remove the 4? And why haven't they given them their children back? Have they complied with the rules to get their children back? Or did the state find more information to say, hell no, we ain't giving you your damn kids back? Same thing with Hollerville. Are these 2 in compliance to getting their 3 boys back? Or is the state saying, hell no, we ain't giving you your 3 back? Once again, the missing link, the obvious common denominator is neglect. I believe all children were neglected from Cal City to Rogersville. And that is the reason why all the remaining children were removed from the biological and adoptive parents. The state found something in California and the state found something in Tennessee. The issue is, was the state involved in the Cal City boys' lives up before being reported missing? Same thing with Hollerville. How many times were calls made to each household? What was the end result of phone calls, complaints? How many complaints did each get? What was the main reason for these boys going missing? Some of us suspected that the state was still in their business, naturally, and they hadn't been probably taking the children to the doctor, set appointments, and somebody kept ring, 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 ring. Well, now let's disappear. But it was also said with Cal City that the West had already made plans to move in that spring of 2020. So it wasn't a jump up and move situation because they applied for, I guess, a loan or whatever in the spring of 2020, but they didn't get to the said house until the fall of 2020. So what we have to ask ourselves, why did this young couple want to move to the middle of nowhere, no man's land, to raise 6 kids? Why did they want to adopt extra children? Those are very pivotal questions, important questions. Why did you want all those kids to be in your early 30s? You should be wanting to live your best life. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a house full of children, but can you afford your children? Do you have the means to support your children and yourself? Do you have the stability mentally and physically to support 6 kids and yourselves? Because if you're not mentally fit, you're not financially fit, you're not morally fit. Come on, Queen, bring it to him. You don't need no kids. Now, with Cal City, it is alleged that the boys were abused by the biological mother. That's how they got into the care. So then they get adopted eventually, because obviously the bio mother didn't comply with the rules to get her children back. Now, compare that to Hollerville. These people have lost 2 sets of children outside of each other's union. They get together and now they have 4 kids gone. State involved in their business once before they even got together. So you weigh the two. Adopted versus keeping your biological children, yet I believe neglect was in both households. So some will say, I would never give my kid up. I would never place him here. Well, it would be preferable you place your child with somebody versus neglecting them. So how is it noble to keep your kids and not provide the necessities of life for them versus handing the baton over to somebody who can take care of the children? And naturally, Lord have mercy. Lost my train of thought. As I said, some people think it's wrong to place your children up with anybody or for adoption. But like I said, how is it right to keep your children and mistreat them? It's no difference. You are no better than a person who wanted to give their children up for whatever reason. Didn't work out. They handed it over to their mother, their father, adoption agency, the state, whichever. But keeping your kids and mistreating them morally, physically, sexually, financially, not feeding them, not combing their hair, not putting them in a clean environment, how is that right to keep them? It isn't. So you can't judge somebody if they gave their child to somebody else to raise. Many children and people have been raised by other people, and they have turned out fine. You're entitled to your interpretation. And a lot of people keep their children and raise their children, and they think they are doing a fine job, but they are not. So you can't say, well, I kept my child, I raised mine, but did you do a good job? That's the point. Did you do your best by raising your kids? Because it doesn't count that you kept your child or children, but you did not treat them appropriately. So you can't judge somebody who gave their child up for whatever reason. Now, to have the child taken, that's a whole nother subject. It's not the same. It's placing your child with a family member and or adoption. The state took your child because they found fault in you and your environment. And what you have to ask yourself, are you worthy to get your child back? Yes, people make mistakes, but some mistakes, you can't go back. And the state won't allow your children to go back, depending on the severity of the charges and the situation in which your children were taken from you. And we have seen children going back to their family from being neglected. And as some workers have said, we don't want to take your children, although some people think we are in the business of taking children. But what a lot of you don't seem to understand, the state doesn't have places readily available to just house your child, house children. You think someone's just sitting around with an open door for an abused child, neglected child, runaway, whichever? No. So they want to make it work for you to keep your baby, your kids. But it is up to you to comply with the rules to get your child back. I don't do the DHS bashing because all situations are not the same. So I can't judge every situation the same if I don't know all the details. And we do know that there will be some lax behavior on all parts, state and the person who doesn't have the child. So I can't compare every situation. But the one thing I can say about Cal City, they didn't have a good start. And they didn't have a good ending, because I do not believe that they are alive. Same thing for Rogersville. Summer and her brothers didn't have a good start, and one is missing, and I believe she is dead. And the other 3 itty bitty spiders are now in the state's custody. And we have to pray that the Wells children don't end up a Cow City story. Do you understand what I'm saying? We have to pray that the Wells boys do not end up a Cow City story because they are in the state's care. There is no guarantee that those 3 boys will stay together. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we don't know who has them. We don't know if the person wants all 3. We don't even know if all 3 are together because that information is privileged. So we will probably never know unless someone leaks it out. So we have to pray that these 3 boys don't end up a Cow City story. Stay woke. Because people do not want older children. They want babies so they can mold them into their own formation. And some of you probably don't know that, but it is a fact. That is why you have so many older children in the state's care. You have children who've been in the state's care from birth to toddlers all the way up to 18 years of age because no one wanted to adopt them for whatever reason. Either it was the parents or the child had some type of issue, developmental, attitude, so on and so forth. But it's not the child's fault because they didn't ask to be here and they didn't choose their parents and they didn't choose the foster parents or the adoptive parents. And the thing about getting a child that's already able to talk and walk, he or she has his own identity. So now you're taking a strange child into a strange house. And now that child has to conform to the idealisms of the people in that house. And that is where your problems come in. The children are used to living a certain way. Now they're in another house where things are different. The people look different. They talk different. They act different. They do different things. And perhaps felonious things. No different than where they came from. Have mercy. Will we find out what happened to the boys of Cow City? 1 year and nothing. Searches, more interviews of persons, out-of-state searches, mass searches, but no Cow City boys. Several agencies involved, but no Cow City boys. Summer Wells, 6 months tomorrow, reported missing from Rogersville, Tennessee. No Summer Wells. Bunch of hoopla, drama, he said, she said, rambling in dresser drawers, chasing demons, chasing people, chasing videos, posting videos, calling people in inboxes, same that went on with Cow City, doxing, stalking, stealing people's photographs, pretending to be them in the chat and inboxes, but yet no Cow City boys. So all the points wasted in foolishness to be seen and relevant off the backs of 2 little black boys and also a little white girl out of Rogersville, Tennessee. But yet you care, you say. So you, as the outsider, flim-flam ass relatives, flim-flam ass neighbors, flim-flam ass citizens, you are no different than the bio donors and the adoptive parents. You are just as vile. You are no different. You've lost your way like the parents. And you're piggybacking off the name of a kid who is missing and 9 times out of 10 dead. No human trafficking, no selling of a child, no bartering of a child for drugs, no hiding the child. 9 times out of 10, snuffed out by their own damn parent. And children are murdered by their children every day. So why are you adding all this extra stuff to say they're over there, they're over here, they're hiding? You don't have a receipt to nothing of human trafficking, selling of a child, hiding the child out. And the fact that you can't find them should tell you they're probably not alive. Because I meant to get them gone. I didn't sell them. I didn't barter them with nobody. I killed them and tucked them away nice and neat where you can't find them. So keep trying. You see, that's the gist of the story. You can't find Cal City boys. You can't find Summer Wells. Why is that? Because 9 times out of 10, they've been tucked away nice and neat. And at this point, they are no longer whole. So what are you going to find left of the children? Possibly nothing. Where are the Cal City boys? How long were they missing from the adoptive parents' possession? Are we to believe they made it to Cal City? Many people don't think they made it due to the fact there was never any information that the children were ever seen at the said house. Do they still own the house? Do they stay there periodically? Where are they staying, Jacqueline and Trezell West? Why haven't we seen them, heard from them? Why haven't we heard from the brother who was the mouthpiece for them in the beginning, cussing and fussing and worrying about who's talking about his family, but yet he fell off as well? Nobody in the adoption arena has been visible. Jacqueline, Trezell, his parents, her parents, the brother Jamal, the younger brother, no cousins, no aunties, no nothing. No neighbors, no friends. Don't you find that strange? You know nothing about Jacqueline and Trezell, yet you know too much about Candy and Don. Stay woke. They won't stop talking, theatrics every damn day, but Jacqueline and Trezell laid in the cut and let you all chase them around. Do you get it? One laid in the cut, and the other side of the globe wants to be seen and heard. 5 minutes of fame. Why is that? Wanting to stay relevant off of a missing child that 9 times out of 10 they deliberately got missing, versus Cal City, the adoptive parents are hiding out, not being seen, and keeping their mouth closed and not being visible. But they got their children missing as well. So I believe that both parties deliberately off their kids, but their delivery of how they're handling it is different. Cal City lays low, Rogersville, Spotlight City. I got to be seen. I got to be heard. Why? Will we get answers to the discovery of the Cal City brothers? And will we get answers to the disappearance of Summer Wells? They're both evenly yoked in mischief, mayhem, and child neglect, abuse. I believe that's obvious. Neither child had a chance from birth up until their disappearance. And 9 times out of 10, their death. And luckily, other children who were in the household survived. The other children in Cal City are in foster care, and 3 are in foster care in East Tennessee. God is good. And perhaps God made it this way. I'm going to have these sacrifices so I can get the other children out of their care. Stay woke. Perhaps Cal City, they were sacrificed to show the truth of who these people are. And same thing with Summer Wells. The earth sacrificed her for truth to come out, and the boys could be removed. Cruel indeed. But God has a reason for the season. And this is all the devil's work. Because I remember a preacher once said, why do you blame God? Did God tell you he did all this? Why can't it be the devil? Because we do that sometimes. We blame God when bad things happen. They don't go our way. Why are you doing this to me, Lord? I didn't do nothing. I don't deserve this. But then one preacher said, why not you? Why are you special? My son died on the cross for you. Who are you to have favor? Why are you special? So when you think about a child, it sounds cruel. Well, my goodness, why have them kill a baby? That's not fair. Take a child. But then God probably says, well, who said it was to be fair if you were a child or an adult? It's not fair for anybody. But there is a reason for the season. As cruel as it seems and is. It was time for those children to come out of the care of Jacqueline and Trezell. And it was time for the three brothers to come out of the care of Don and Candy. The West and the Wells, they're both W's. And don't you find that strange? West versus Wells. Easily to get them mixed up. W and W. California versus East Tennessee. What are the odds? Black children, white children. Child neglect, abuse in both cases. Alcoholism in both cases. Drug abuse in both cases. Who knows what else type of assaults were going on with all the children involved. Because we don't know the full story of how the children came to be originally with their bio parents to adoption to now foster care in Rogersville. And as I said, let's pray that the Wells children do not end up like Cal City. Because there are no guarantees in foster care. How the children will turn out and where they will end up. Thank you for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $BigAngie129 Cash App. I will drop the link. Prayers for the children. Next week, December 21st, will mark 1 year to the date that the boys of Cal City were allegedly went missing out of Cal City. Bakersfield Police Department took over the investigation shortly after the case came to the forefront. And I believe they got involved because something must have came about that possibly the children never made it to Cal City. They were in Bakersfield before their alleged plight to Cal City. And I believe something came about as far as information that the children never made it. And I think most of us know that. If we don't know anything, we know that. There's a reason Bakersfield took the case. And that's the sick part, besides the kids missing. 2, they're possibly dead. 3, they never made it to Cal City. So that leads you to ask, why the hell did the parents move there? Why were the remaining children taken out of their care when they put forth this felonious fake report of 2 little black boys missing out of their backyard? And they hammered and they hammered and they chiseled and they dug up the dirt. No children. Yet some of you still moan and cried. They're in here, they're over there. Because you refuse to listen to the said information. Same thing with Summer Wells. You know damn well they've searched that property inside and out, banged on walls, banged on anything that resembles a cellar, attic, crawl space. She's not there. Where is she? I do not know. But I'm betting my money Summer Wells is right in the vicinity of that Beach Creek community. I'll put it like that. Where are the boys of Cal City? Only God knows. Because California is a big state. It is a long state. Those children could be at the top of the state, in the wilderness, in the ocean, in a quarry, in the desert. You have Nevada that neighbors California, Washington State. Stay woke. They could be anywhere. Anywhere. Same thing with Summer. We neighbor North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky. No problem to step your foot into Virginia and dump a kid. Step your foot into the wilderness, into North Carolina, and dump a kid. Cross over into Kentucky and dump a kid. Stay woke. Thank you so much. Prayers for Cal City and Summer Wells. And prayers for the investigators who are diligently working to get a resolution to these children. They are God's children if they belong to nobody but God. It doesn't matter about who their parents were, who raised them, who gave birth, who adopted them. They're children of God, and He will have the final say pertaining to the children. Justice. This is all God's doing. He will right the wrong when He is ready, and not before then. Amen. Thank you all for joining me. God bless all of you. Happy holidays to all of you. Please be safe. Decided to go early so I could have some free time to myself. I had not been feeling very well, so I need to get my rest. Very sluggish lately. Had very bad food poisoning Sunday morning. So I'm just like out of sorts. Thank you all for joining me. Please feel free to hit the link. Please keep your commentary brief, as so others can give their commentary pertaining to Cal City versus Hollerville. Where are the children? Why do we have so many missing children in America? Why do we have sick people kidnapping children? Why do we have sick people hurting children, harming children, killing children, disposing of children? Why? They've done nothing to you. Because as I said, if you don't want the kids, feel free to pass them on. Thank you, Reese. Thank you so much, honey. Hello, Trucker. How are you? Thank you, sweetheart. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to the missing children of Cal City. There's been an update by Brian Wong. Feel free to go to his Facebook page to get the said information. And there are no new updates pertaining to Summer Wells. There'll probably be something in the queue before midnight pertaining to Summer Wells. Only thing is an article pertaining to two other children missing. There's an article by The Sun pertaining to Summer Wells and 2 other children. One of the children is Michael Vaughn and another Caucasian baby girl. And then there's the information that most of you know of Candace filing a complaint against social media platforms for being on her said property. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, Lisa. Sad people. I'll look for Cal City info. I don't use Facebook. Okay, well, you still can bring it up. You don't have to have Facebook to look it up. All you have to do is just Google. Thank you. Here is one of my mods, Mr. John Hunter. Thank you.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, stranger. How are you? Happy holidays.
Hey, happy holidays.
What's going on?
Man, I've been sitting up listening to you, and I've been wondering, I'm glad somebody finally spoke up, because it's been a long time since I heard anything about them babies.
That's said information. Let me go back and read it for you. I don't know how much you heard of this information or not. Hold on. Man, I can't even get it to pull up. Wait a minute. How have you been?
I'm doing okay, trying to stay safe. This weather is crazy nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Changing up. Exactly.
It's crazy.
Now, where is the article? This is strange.
Seeing you've been out and about enjoying your life. That's what you continue to do.
Yeah, yes, Queen gets out on the weekend, don't she?
That's why you supposed to.
Amen. Yes.
We only live once. That's it. That's all.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is the update uploaded 6 hours ago. Because now he does work for Channel 7 Denver News. And he did not get fired. As I told the people in the chat, he and the other young lady, I can't think of her name, they were not fired. They had expired contracts, and they went on to greener pastures. Bakersfield police have executed 4 more search warrants, interviewed 33 more people, conducted 11 more mass area searches, and 4 out-of-state searches as of December 13 for missing toddler brothers Orrin and Orson West, who were 3 and 4 years old at the time when their adoptive parents reported them missing out of their California City home on December 21st, 2020. These are updated figures to the investigation. Here are the numbers from June when BPD released 4 previous figures. 83 people interviewed, 44 search warrants, 170 items seized for investigating, 16 mass area searches, and 3 searches out of state. As of today, the adoptive parents' other 4 children remain in CPS custody. No suspect has been formally identified, and no one has been arrested. BPD is continuing to work with the FBI, Texas EquiSearch, NCMEC, California City Police Department, and Kern County District Attorney's Office on this case. And when I last checked this out, they had like 65 comments. It's now up to 192 comments. That is the information. 4 new search warrants, 33 more people interviewed, and 11 more searches, mass searches, and 4 out-of-state searches. What do you think about that information?
Well, that's some new one on me, because I hadn't heard none of that.
Okay, well, it just got uploaded a few hours ago.
Yeah, because it's been a while. I mean, some months, and we haven't heard anything. We ain't heard nothing for months. And to be honest with you, I think they let it go cold.
Why you say that?
Because it's, we don't hear nothing. No more. AV News Crew is the only somebody who ever speak on it every now and again.
Okay.
And that's once you get, some new uploads or anything like that. Other than that, we don't hear nothing. They let it go cold.
Okay.
And that's the only way, it's the only way I can spin it. That's all. That's the only, that's all it seemed to me. Like, I mean, come on now. These is two little dudes. How you not even out there looking, man? And they saying they did a,
They just said they did, baby. See, that's the thing y'all got to remember. They're not going to tell you when they're searching. They're not going to tell you where they are searching.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, they have an idea of who they think got the kids. By now, I think they know who is involved in the disappearance of the said children. Same thing with Summer Wells. I'm not going to tell you nothing about where I'm going, what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, they need to get forward with some action then, because that's not right, man. These is two little dudes that was completely helpless. They couldn't defend themselves. They didn't stand a chance. And and for people to just, I'm not gonna, say people. I'm just gonna say for, whoever, Bakersfield, Cal City, whoever, for them to just, it's the way they put it out there. I got people in Cal City, and they letting us know they not out there. They not looking. They not turning over no rocks. Now I'm telling you, if it was the prom queen or somebody, they'll wherever you want to think about. Man, let it be.
And lighter skin.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That has been a problem in America. That is a current problem, that African American people, indigenous people, do not get the fair shake of coverage when they go missing.
At all.
It is what it is. It's not a fable. It's not made up. It's not, race bait nor none of that.
It's reality. It's reality.
Yes, it is. So,
and that's how it's been forever. And it don't look like it's got no plan on changing anytime soon.
Right. I got you.
And for them to just up and disappear, they for them to up and disappear, these babies ain't grew no wings and flew away. They ain't just up sprouted wings and took off on their own.
So after all that's been said and done pertaining to the Cal City boys, what do you believe happened to the children?
Me personally, I believe.
Yeah, you personally. Yes, sir.
I believe they were sold.
Okay.
I believe they were sold because
for what purpose?
Maybe it had to be like.
But for what purpose?
I don't know, financial gain or something. Because like, what was it, 5 or 6 months after they were gone, or after they were reported gone, it started coming out that Trezell dude never had a job ever in his life or whatever. And then all of a sudden, this dude started getting these lump sums of money.
Well, he worked a little while before that doing security somewhere.
Yeah. And then he ended up getting, so I was hearing, on the grapevine, this dude had a bunch of lump sum, a few lump sum cash deposits in his bank account, where all these hundreds of thousands of dollars coming from, and you ain't, come on.
Well, I didn't hear it was that kind of money.
Yeah, 62,000 once, 67,000 once, and then another 80,000, something like that, 85 or 86.
Where did you get that information from, sir?
It was where was it? I seen the videos on and listening to people out there talking, interviewing and stuff like that, and amongst themselves or whatever. But it and even on the news, it was a news broadcast. One of them I heard. I think it was a Bakersfield broadcast. Somebody said this dude had all this money and he ain't never had a job. And I guess they was looking into it where he came from, where he got it from, or how he came about it. But then he said nothing else about it since then. And this was what's this, December? This was after my birthday. This was around June.
Well, what I like to know is why were the other children removed right after they found the report of the 2 babies? I like to know what was found in the house, because they removed Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think them boys ever made it to Cal City.
Well, a lot of us didn't think they made it.
Because remember,
once they started interviewing all the people in the neighborhood that they could find that talk, and those people said they hadn't seen the children. Then once they changed it and said, well, I think I saw some kids, but maybe not those kids. I thought, oh Lord, here we go.
Yeah. And one time when me and my neighbor had went around there, and they had the Bakersfield news investigator. He was parked on the street, and he looked as if it was the police. I thought he was the police. Me and my buddy, we thought it was the police. So we drove up on the car, and we started talking to him. I think I told you about this. We started talking to him, and we told dude, this is when they were interviewing Trezell and Jacqueline at the police station in Cal City. And we told dude, man, we know, what I'm saying, you guys law enforcement, and y'all got to be, professional and everything at all times. And dude stopped us in mid sentence and told us that he was not a police. When they had took the dogs in there, they had went in there with cadaver dogs and everything, and they they supposedly had broke up the garage concrete in there, searching for inside the walls and all that type of stuff. At that time, dude had told us he wasn't the police. And when they took the dog, and when the dog wouldn't come out of the house, the reason the dog wouldn't come out of the house is because the dog knew that if he did come out of the house, he would lose whatever scent he had when he picked it up in Bakersfield. And he brought it back to Cal City. And if he left out of that house, dude, the investigator was telling us the dog, understood and knew that he would lose that scent and he would have no more track. That's why they said the dog would not leave the premises. So I don't know. I don't think they ever made it. They brought something from Bakersfield to Cal City that smelled like them babies. That's what happened. They never made it, I don't believe.
Okay.
I think they were sold.
Are they alive, though?
I would hope so, but I don't know. We're going on a year.
Okay, you have to always remember.
Man,
you can't walk around. If you got the kids because you wanted children, you couldn't walk around with them. So that's obsolete. 2, felonious reasons, that 9 times out of 10 they're gonna kill the kids. So either way, you jack with having the children.
They would have to kill them. And that's why I would hate to, think like that. But
that's what you do to children when you kidnap them. People do not just kidnap children because they want to have a baby.
No, not at all. Not at all. They kill them and harm them. They kidnap them and harm them.
Yeah, most men are the predators to kidnap children. And 9 times out of 10, he is not kidnapping your child to keep your child.
At all. But it's whatever happened.
Especially at that age, 4 and 5, or 3 and 4. What can you do with a 3 and 4-year-old?
They was little dudes. I mean, man, these some little dudes. These some big toddlers.
Sad, man.
And this, I can't understand it. How can a sick, warped-minded individual want to harm two babies?
Listen here. Callie Dime says, why both? Very good question, Callie. Why kidnap both children or sell both children? If that's what you all believe, some of you believe. I don't believe they were human trafficked because they haven't brought anything to me as a receipt that they were trafficked. I think they just got tired of the children and got rid of them. That's what I think. That was the purpose of moving to Cal City, you see.
But just those two, it was other adopted and foster kids in the house.
That doesn't mean that those other 4 acted like those 2. You got to remember, those are 2 biological brothers. They're bound by blood.
Yeah.
So they may have same attitudes, dispositions. We don't know because we don't know the children. We don't know Jacqueline and Trezell. But you have to admit, 2 go missing at the same time. It's more suspicious with 2 missing. That's why I think it was. I don't know. I just think maybe something. He got tired of the children. He didn't care about the money. He wouldn't believe that they did this for money. He didn't care about the money. I want to get rid of these children. That's what people don't understand. It starts out for the money, but then the temperament is going to be the issue.
True.
They're rambunctious. They're doing this. Okay, you pop off. Boom, you hit the kid. Push the kid down. Choke the kid. Whatever. Suffocate the kid. Boom, they're gone. It's over with. See, that's the thing people don't understand. Most children are murdered by their parents.
Yes.
They're not sold. They're murdered.
Yeah, they're killed.
Deliberately. Not no accident. Somebody fell and hit their head. Oh, I'm scared to call the police. Hell no, I don't like you. Whether I gave birth to you, brought you here, planted the seed, adopted you, I don't want you no more.
Yeah, that's just like this black dude in California not too long ago, last month. This dude killed all four of his kids and shot their grandmama.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So why these people out here kill their kids every day? So I never thought about human trafficking. I'm not saying they couldn't have been trafficked, but I doubt it because you can't do anything with them. You can't keep them. If they're sold for felonious reasons, they weren't going to keep them alive.
No.
So it don't even matter if they were trafficked. They're probably not alive.
They had to get rid of them.
Yeah, you're going to get rid of them.
That's why, and that, you know, that bothers me because these babies, I mean, God, man.
They don't care.
You know, how can your mind be so warped and, you know,
don't care anything about those kids.
Man.
They were means to an end.
That's all they were to them. And I think his people, either I don't know, somebody know what happened outside of whoever is responsible.
There's always somebody that knows something or have an idea. It's just a matter of when they're going to tell it. So who knows? His mother. Giselle's mother. She knows what happened to the children.
Somebody know.
Mm-hmm. Where are they friends? 1 year later, not one person has come forward to say, I'm a friend, a cousin, a sister, brother. I find that very strange.
Nope. Nobody. Like they had zero associates in Bakersfield. I doubt it very seriously.
That's odd for two young people, 30 years old, coming out of school, 12 so years. That just don't make no sense to me.
No, it don't.
Where are her friends?
Even the neighbors, even the neighbors in their apartment complex should have known them. Somebody knew him.
Well, one guy did speak up, and he said the children stayed in. They was look out the window as the other children played outside. But that was one neighbor. See, a lot of people don't like getting involved. You know, just like when I went to the street the other day, yesterday or whatever, to film the video about the man dumped, you know, in front of the apartment complex.
Yeah.
I went across the street where this guy's got a place set up to, you know, help with the homeless people, whatever. And I was talking to some people out there. They didn't want to go on the camera. They didn't even want their voices recorded. I said, well, I can film you just talking. No, that's okay. But they didn't mind giving up the goods to what they think happened to them.
Man.
That's what was so interesting. I got a few people to say what they think happened to dude or what they heard in the street, but they would not let me record their voice or their face. I was just like, wow.
Don't nobody want to be shown.
Well, that's okay, but you could let the people hear your voice. Because everybody in Knoxville don't watch YouTube. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Ain't but a select few of people actually watch YouTube. I know a lot of people right now, they don't give a F about YouTube. They don't venture over to YouTube for nothing. So for those that think that YouTube is the holy grail, no, it ain't. Because I know a lot of people, they don't ever go to YouTube. Rarely do they go. They don't even know nothing about this stuff I'm talking about. Summer Wells, the boys missing. That's like you're trying to tell everybody. Everybody's not interested in the same information that you're interested in. A lot of people don't even care about the news. So they just don't care. Not interested. People don't even watch the news anymore. So they ain't interested in what somebody talking about on YouTube. Just keeping it real. Oh, yeah, Sunset. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't watch YouTube. They're on Facebook, but they don't watch YouTube. Yes, very odd. No friends. You have to be evil to your core to hurt kids. There's no worse evil than that. Exactly. The elderly too. Be the elderly person. Sexually assault an elderly person. Your mind is warped. Your mind is all the way warped. Thank you so much. I believe these two boys were abused and someone went too far. Dead. I'm sorry, sweet boys. They cry out to be helped. By the look in their eyes, they are scared knowing how cruel their parents are. Possibly. And that's what's sad. Looking at those photos of them at a family gathering, it looked like they were in a restaurant, all of them with the children, the mother, father, the brother, the other baby brother, Giselle's brother. You would never know that looking in that photograph that possibly there was issues of children being neglected, abuse, and then later somebody's going to file a report that the children are missing. This is very scary. But see, you don't know people. You walk by people every day at the grocery store, work, where you live. You don't know what's going on in their house. You don't know what's going on in their mind. You can know somebody for years. That does not mean you know them. Because people say that all the time. Oh, I know him. I know her. You know, I know somebody right now. They'll argue you down about anything that happens with a person. I always want to be the first to say, I know him. I knew him before you knew him. Yeah, but we're talking about something jacked up that they did. So did you really know them? You brag about people that you don't really know. Because there's no such thing as saying, I know somebody. Because let me tell you something. Besides these horrible cases of children being missing and found dead and their parents being involved, people walk by you every day, don't like you, and smile in your face and act like they are your friend. And yet you will go to bat and brag about them to other people. But they just haven't told you what they really think about you. They really don't like you. They don't respect you. They don't revere you. You're a means to an end. You're somebody they only call when they maybe want something. They don't like the way you look, the way you talk, your lifestyle. You better stay woke. There is no loyalty. There's no such damn thing. Many of us have sat around people we really did not care for. Vice versa. They sat around us, didn't like us. It's all the same. And it's not until you get somebody come back whispering in your ear what somebody said about you. And then you realize, wow, I didn't know they felt like that about me. Okay. Well, you didn't know them then. So you got to stop saying that. I know him. I know her. She would never. He would never do that. Well, tell that to the dead person. How about that? Tell that to the dead person on the slab who is no longer breathing. How well you knew Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, your best friend. Yeah, okay. Because see, dead is dead. Ain't no resurrection coming back of him. You is gone. No repeats, no do-overs, no replays. It's a wrap. So you need to make the best of while you're living here on top of this dirt. Try to be stress-free, debt-free. Treat people accordingly, especially our children and our elderly. Because one day you are going to become an elderly person. If you're grown, that means you were once a child. You know what it's like to have been a child. Some of you had good lives, some of you did not. So you know what it's like to be a child. You've seen the ugliness of being a child, the horrors of being a child, mistreated, bullied, not being taken care of mentally, physically, financially. You become adult. You make your own choices to live as you see fit, choose to bear children, raise children, and hopefully you will treat your child as great as you were treated or better than you were treated. But sometimes it doesn't work out like that. It is a job indeed. And it's not for everyone. And these stories mirror one another. These children were born to the wrong people, got into custody of the wrong people, and now they're missing. 9 times out of 10, they're deceased. They didn't have a chance. Or as they would say in the street, a fair shake at life. They were not afforded the opportunity to shine. You understand? Yes, and I agree. COVID was the perfect culprit to hide a multitude of sins. A good way to fall off from people, cut people off, abuse your family, friends, and children. Because the easy excuse, you can't come over here. I ain't opening the door. I don't want COVID. Amen. Stop right there. Can't come over here. Where the baby at? He sleep. Where your little girl at? She sleep. Where your daddy at? He sleep. Hell, they could be somewhere dead in the basement in a tub. Who's to say and who's going to find out? Because there's COVID. Indeed, COVID was the best, ultimate game changer for deception, murder. Can't come outside, COVID. No, he won't be over there today. We got COVID running around. Nope, they're not coming to the birthday party. I don't want my children getting no COVID. I don't want to catch COVID. And all along, people been hiding their kids, family members. They're dead because of COVID. Indeed, COVID was the best excuse to hide the sins of the mother and the father. And it's sad. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to the disappearance of the Cal City boys, the update I've brought forward. There have been some new searches pertaining to the children. New people interviewed. The 21st of this month will mark 1 year to the date that Jacqueline and Giselle West filed a missing persons report for the children. And tomorrow will mark 6 months to the date that Summer Wells went missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee. Very sad. Thank you all for joining me. Well, I'm a little over an hour into this commentary. Thank you, Callie. Thank you all so much for the support. I really appreciate it. The Queen is short a few subscribers to 10,000 subscribers. Amen. It was a slow run these past 2 months because I was at 9,000 about 2 months ago. And I want to thank Mr. AB because it is basically him sharing my content. It's how I got some of you to come into my playhouse and sit with the Queen for a little while and indulge in the content. Amen. Thank you so very kindly. And I'm sure by the time I come out this live, I should probably be at 10,000 subscribers. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for the dream. Thank you all so much. Well, that's really all I have for this evening. Is that a lot of similarities and a lot of differences in the Cal City case and Summer Wells case. But the common denominator is neglect. The boys were neglected from birth. They were taken out of the custody of their bio mother, put into foster care, never reclaimed by the bio mother, to go on to be adopted by these two misfits who I don't know for what reason they adopted these children. Some of you believe it was for money because they didn't keep income, possibly so. Some of you think they're trafficked, rehomed, whatsoever. The point is, who was going to keep them? Nobody. So 9 times out of 10, they're probably not alive because it is too risky to keep the children alive once reported missing. If you're ever caught with the children, you're going to have to explain what those children are doing in your possession. And that's just the bottom line. Summer Wells. Some believe human trafficking, hidden by church members. You have no proof to that. And as I said, same thing with Cal City. It would be too risky to hide out a child You're just going to leave a child inside? And it's not to say it has not been done. Of course it's been done. But if you were taking the child to offer the child a better life, what would be the reason to hide them? And you can't bring them outside. So what would be your alternative? To continue to hide them in the house? And if you got the child for felonious reasons, sexual reasons, 9 times out of 10, you will not keep the child alive. And I think most of you know that. Thank you, Mac. Once again, the 21st of this month, next week, will mark 1 year that the boys of Cal City have gone missing, allegedly, from Cal City. Many people do not believe that the children ever made it there from Bakersfield, California. And I do believe that is why the Bakersfield Police Department claimed the case early on, because they saw something out of Bakersfield which led them to claim the case and take the baton from Cal City. And to this date, there have been no arrests in the disappearance of those 2 baby boys. As far as Summer Wells go, no arrests in this case. All parties are deemed suspects. No one has been removed as a suspect. No information has come back from TBI or FBI as far as data, devices. 2 searches were exacted a few weeks ago, or a search rather was exacted a few weeks ago pertaining to Summer Wells, a 2-day search. Nothing came from that 2-day search. We have to ask ourselves, did something come back from TBI and FBI pertaining to Summer Wells, which led them to search the Beach Creek area? Again, let me make that clear. That area was searched originally in July, but because of the dense vegetation, they waited till the season changed and went back in to see what they could find. And that was only a 2-day search. Where is Summer Wells? Is she alive? Where are the Cal City boys? Are they alive? As I said, each has an Amber Alert, and it would be very risque to have each of these children alive and in the possession of a human being, because you would have to explain why you have possession of a said child that has an Amber Alert issued to their persons, and you never came forward with the child and how you came to get the child. So if now you were given up with the child, what would you tell law enforcement why you have the said child and children? You would have to tell the truth, that you kidnapped the child, or that you bought the child, or the parents handed you the child, sold you the child, whichsoever. And God knows if it is the worst of selling, you bought the child, you are going to go to jail, because it is against the law to buy a human in the United States. And that's the sad information. 6 months to the date tomorrow, Summer Wells missing from Rogersville, Tennessee. December 21st, 2021 marks 1 year that the Cal City boys had a police report filed out of Cal City, California by Jacqueline and Giselle West that their boys went missing from their backyard. What is the truth? Are they involved? They've laid low in the cut. They do not talk, do not speak publicly. Unlike the Wells, the father Don, a walkie-talkie, nonstop shenanigans circus act. Why is that? Using his child to stay relevant. But in the case of the Cal City boys, those two have fallen off. the adoptive parents, they don't give a damn. And they've shown you they don't give a damn. So you can see in the end that in Cal City, the parents fell off, showing you they never gave a you know what, never rallied for the children, searched for the children. Hollerville, talk a mile a minute, searching YouTubers out, YouTubers searching them out, all wanting to stay relevant off the name of a child. For what reason? Clout in each case. Psychos in the case of Cal City, stalking people, people acting like they care about the children, fell off, fussing, cussing. Same thing with this case in Hollerville. But in the end, nobody has found the children. Nobody knows where the children are except for the people that got them gone. Quiet in Cal City, but loud and boisterous in Rogersville. But in both cases, I do believe there was neglect and abuse of all said children. And each case had children removed from the family's home. So there are similarities and there are differences. But the main thing is neither cared for the children. Jacqueline and Giselle never cared for their own children, the adoptive and foster children, and the Wells do not care for their children. And I think it's obvious now. One's quiet, and in East Tennessee, they're hooping and hollering, but they do not care for Summer or the boys. And Jacqueline and Giselle do not care for the two baby boys missing or their own biological and foster children. They have not received their children back, and nor have the Wells received their children back. If you want to donate to the channel, $BeGanji129 Cash App. Thank you all so much for joining me. Have a safe week. God bless all of you. And this is Everyday Shenanigans. Hit the like button and subscribe and let me get on to 10,000 subscribers if I ain't by the time I end this live. Amen. God is good. Thank you so very kindly. Thank you all new subscribers. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Woo, God is good. Amen. Happy holidays.